Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and I'm here with the sketch number 2 from the Creative Memories virtual crop for February 2023. I am going to be working with the Serenity collection for this one, and I want to thank all of my viewers and subscribers, goodness, subscribers who participated in my poll earlier this week to kind of help give me some guidance on what collections that you all would like to see me work with for this virtual crop. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so and keep an eye on my community tab. I try to post there every Monday, and I also put up some fun polls and different things as well, especially before the virtual crop, which happens every second Saturday of the month. Goodness gracious. Let's get on to the project and get off of having me on camera because all of a sudden I can't talk. Here we go. It just takes a moment to get everything switched over so that way you all can see everything that I am going to be working on here. And so this is the sketch for sketch number 2. I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer. You can see I definitely have a lot more writing on this sketch than I did the last one I just broadcast. Sketch number 4 was much simpler. This one, I don't know. I still think it's reasonably simple. I just have a little bit more that I did on this one. For the base of this layout, I am going to use this blue textured page. I believe this was the one that they called a bath towel or something along those lines. It's the one that has the lotus on the back of it, which I kept calling, I don't know what I kept calling it. I kept calling it the wrong plant though. So these are lotus on the back, and this is a textured fabric on the front of this page. And it really does look like you can just reach out and feel it. And then I don't know if y'all have been watching my Sketch With Me series, but in that series, I had kind of a larger scrap of this paper that has kind of the floral design on it. It has the green tiled look on the back. And so I went ahead and I cut that down. It was a larger scrap, so I cut it down into an 8.5-inch square. And that is what we are going to create our diamond shape out of on our page. So on the thing, it does say to use an 8-inch square. You're more than welcome to use an 8-inch square. I just wanted to show you with something slightly different than what they put on there. Not to be contrary or anything, but I like to do my own thing. And sometimes, that's why I tell you all what I'm doing. Even before they had the measurements on, I let you all know what I was doing. And I did think I should have pulled out my 13 by 13 mat for this one. Not just so happens I have it right within reaching distance here, and I'm going to put down my little grippy pad that I always stick underneath it because that way it keeps it from sliding around on my table, especially when I'm cutting. But I think for this one, it's going to make sense to make sure that we are lined up nice and even here. And our 13 by 13 cutting mat has this lines on it that help us to know if our base is set. And I'm glad I didn't really push down on my square here because, of course, I've got to get out my multi-purpose tool, and I don't know. I always kind of say you spatula it up almost with using it on this one side of the multi-purpose tool. Okay, this is not working out for me. There we go. Come on up, you. There we go. So I did rip it just a little bit, but that's what I get for using the regular type runner, not the repositionable. So that's up to you all. If you want to use the repositionable, that might be a good idea for this layout. Clearly. Okay, so here's a 6 here. There's a 6 up here. And here and there. So maybe when I cut my square, I wasn't exactly a precise exact square, but pretty close. This is, I think, maybe the hardest part of the entire layout here is trying to get it lined up so it actually looks like a diamond on the page. Okay, whew, goodness gracious. We survived getting that down. Okay, so now the next thing I did was on the sketch, they said they cut triangles from a 4-inch square. Well, I saw something in our catalog where they actually had used almost like it looked like a folded look almost coming from the corners. And I thought that would be really pretty with this layout. So what I did was I actually cut 3-inch squares. I cut two 3-inch squares and I cut them in half. And we're just going to use 3 of those halves. And then I have one other 3-inch square that I'm going to use for a journal box down here in the corner. So these are going to line up, and I'm going to use the repositionable tape for those because I definitely have learned my lesson on that one. And then for my journal box, I actually am going to use just regular tape runner and just tuck it underneath and into your corner of your page. So underneath this little corner is going to go underneath your diamond shape that's running through the middle of your page. Grabbing my repositionable for these other triangles because I don't want to rip up any more paper. But like I said, that's where you learn these lessons. So here's a 9 and there's a 9. So I can see where these two are going to angle towards the 9. And you can see where it just kind of butts up to our edge of our diamond shape here. So this one's going to be on the 3s, and then this one will be on the 9s again in this corner. But I think it was a good call to pull out my mat. And here we go. 3 and 3. Ah, there we go. Okay, I'm always trying to give you ways to make it easier on yourselves, and sometimes you can learn from my mistakes as well, which is why I guess a lot of times I just live stream and you can see if we make a little mistake, how to fix it right away. All right, that one's going to go underneath as well. I guess when I cut my triangles, I had one end that was slightly bigger than the other, but I'm okay with that. And next come our mats for our photos. And for this one, they have a 4x6 photo, 4x4 photo, and a 4x4 photo. Okay, y'all know I'm not so good with that. So here are my mat sizes. I like having at least one 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 because then I can just take a 4x6 photo and plop it right on. That one's going to go over on this side. And then so when I cut the 4 1/4 by 12 first, and then I cut it at 6 1/4. So of course that leaves us with a 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. And I decided let me use that instead of having that be a scrap. And then I did a 4 1/4 by a 4 1/4. So I think I'm going to line that up kind of with this edge here. This one can line up with this down here. And so that almost makes me feel like I need to move this one so it actually hits the edge there as well almost. All right, so now that we have our placement of our mats, let's see if I can actually eyeball and remember where I want to put it. I'm going to just put my finger there, I think. And we all do it, but I did not need to flip that over, did I? That's okay. I think it's one of those things where I'm still working on learning some of that. Okay, that looks pretty straight to me. There we go. And now this one is going to go right here. Well, hey, let's just go ahead and put our tape runner right here and then flip it so where it's following kind of this line here. There we go. That actually worked out much smoother and easier, and it looks like it's pretty straight as well. There we go. There's our second one, and then this third one is lining up kind of with this other one here. So let's put our tape on first again, and then we'll get it onto the page as well. Every once in a while you'll have like a little bit of something on your cardstock, but most of the time you don't, so it makes it easier And this one, I actually like that this paper down here actually has a little bit of grid line on it. It's a very light grid. I forgot to show you, I think, the back side of it. But for my squares, I just use this. Oh, well, I'll hold it up for you. All right. I used this light grid looking paper that we have in the Serenity collection. It kind of almost has a little bit of a tiled effect as well. And then I used the beige for my mats. So I pulled out a few stickers as well. And I just really liked how this Peaceful had the dimension and kind of the angular shapes out of most of our rest of our layout here. Boy, it's been a Saturday already. I guess this is just as well. This is my last layout for the weekend here. I think I'm going to angle this following the lines here. And I am not going to put it on foam squares. I think I'm going to put the Peaceful on foam squares. So there's our bottom one. So I kind of angled it this way. So this one actually is a square following the square of our page, which means I probably should do the same thing with this one. Put it as a square, not as a diamond up here. And then I think our Peaceful will follow the other. So this is over from the 4. So this probably should be over a little bit from the 8. Kind of following the same lines on the page here. And then let's grab a couple of small foam squares for our Peaceful little sticker here. All right. So this one is just going to go down here, kind of layered on top of, but underneath a little bit of our other. So that is it. That is our entire layout. You can see on this one where they have extra embellishments here and they put your journaling down here. I did switch that up a little bit as well, but I did kind of stick with leaving our title and some little embellishing in the top as well. So here it is. And you can see we just wound up with just a really, really pretty and calm layout, I guess, is with the, the Serenity collection. You kind of do get just these kind of just cool vibes from the collection in general. So I hope you all enjoyed seeing my interpretation of sketch number 2. Be on the lookout for a poll probably on Monday, but I also will have a special, hopefully, pop-up crop live stream this coming Monday as well with my friend Kim. So stay tuned for that. And otherwise, I have other videos planned and other live streams coming. So hit the subscribe button and I will see you next time. Until next time.